Hi, I'm Keith Reynolds, and this is SMarketPlace. Welcome. Today, I'm really excited to have Alicia Shapiro talking about her role as head of marketing and the editor of AInews.com. And we got a great show. My co host, Tom Dempsey, is with me.
Hey,
Welcome, Tom.
all right. Happy to be here. Hey, how was the road trip?
It was amazing. 2,500 miles. We did a show last week from northern Idaho. Hotel lobby in northern Idaho. We camped out 7 nights and had 3 nights in a hotel and a couple nights in at a friend's house, and it was all just an amazing trip. This is a beautiful country.
Absolutely. That's great. Everybody should road trip across the country and
I
get to
was
see our beautiful land.
Yeah, I got to see a show in a park. One of our guests, I think it was Clay Hicks. We asked him about his favorite band. He said, "I don't have a favorite band. I just love to go sit in a park and listen to local bands."
Yeah,
And I had that experience. That was really cool over the Fourth of July weekend. And how was widespread panic?
excellent, excellent. Anything at Red Rocks is going to be great, as you know. And I think they've sold out 78 shows at Red Rocks,
Wow.
more than any other band. But yeah, that was great.
I'm 2 weeks and counting to my first show at Red Rocks, and I'm seeing Tedeschi Trex.
Oh, yes.
Super
Excellent.
excited about. Yeah, super excited about that. I've seen the Allman Brothers a couple times and carrying on the tradition.
Yeah. All right. I'm
Yeah,
excited
so
to get
we got a great
your Red
guest.
Rocks experience.
Yeah, it'll be my first.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got a great guest. Alicia, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Love your news background. You are dressed for success here.
That's right. Yep. Got to be professional.
Yeah. Well, you and I met not that long ago, but in another two different roles, and then
Yep.
we reconnected on LinkedIn, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's head of AInews.com, and so thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Happy to be here.
So,
You,
tell us a little bit about just how you got to what was your journey to AInews.com?
Yeah. So I owned a social media agency called Allura Marketing, and um, we managed social media marketing for different customers, and one of them happened to be Michael Mazzata, and he's a commercial real estate agent here in San Diego. And I was helping him with his social media marketing. And about a year into it, he asked me, he goes, "Hey, would you like to help me launch AInews.com?" And I was like, "Yes, I do. AI is going to be huge. And I can't wait to get into it." I didn't want to miss this opportunity because, I was still I was just getting ready to be in college when the internet and everything hit, and I missed out on being a part of that. So I was like, I'm not going to miss my chance here. So we started doing this. He had the or he had the foresight to purchase the domain name back in 2018. So this was before ChatGPT was released. He just had an inkling that AI was going to be huge, and we should try to, get a corner in on the news agency part. And I really liked that idea. And I always kind of wanted to be a news journalist. And so I thought it was a lot of fun. And so we started AInews.com in 2023. And we just had a very simple newsletter where we just had links to other news articles. And then in March of 24, we started getting a little more serious. We created a podcast where we interviewed AI leaders who were doing amazing things in the world of AI. We wanted to tell everybody about it. And then, we kind of progressed, and then we decided, you know what, we need to start writing our own news articles. So around May or June of last year, I started writing our own news articles. And we try to do it in a way that is more easily understandable, and it breaks down the topics of the complex subject that AI is, and it's all over everywhere with different industries. And and then I went to a couple of conferences, and I got to lead a panel at Human X, and then I'm going to lead a panel at AI4 coming up in August, and it's just been a very exciting time. It's so rapidly changing, and it's just exciting.
Well, I'll tell you, just looking at and reading through since when I knew you were coming on the podcast, I think it's fascinating. And you're the editor, contributor,
Yeah.
publisher, all of the above, I'm sure.
Yes. Yeah.
But you're after a particular target audience, I assume. Who would be that target audience?
Mostly business leaders who are wanting to learn more about AI. A lot of what's happening in AI right now are for the big corporations and the big enterprises, and that's great. And it kind of shows us how they're leading the way. But the small businesses are really lacking that instruction, that guidance, and they don't even know where to start to implement AI. They just know that, oh, I got to do AI. How do I do it? And it's it's those business leaders that I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help educate them. I'm trying to let them know what's going on in the world of AI, whether that's research, healthcare, education, transportation. I mean, it covers pretty much all industries,
Yeah.
and it just gives them an idea of what's happening, what can they do, where do they start. So we have a lot of AI and tech leaders in our audience, and that's great. But I really kind of do want to reach out to general business leaders and get them more involved in the AI process.
Well,
When we were preparing, go ahead, Tom.
oh, I was just as a follow up, you do coaching as well, I noticed.
Yeah.
And what do you find that the majority of the topics are? Are you finding these are beginners? Are they business leaders, as you had just mentioned? Are they, advanced AI folks who are looking for another
Hmm.
way to accomplish something? What do you see mostly and hear mostly?
Yeah, it is beginners. And I would say businesses for sure. Yeah, businesses for sure. But there's this one guy that he just wanted to get uh, some feedback on what he was doing. He's a doctor in New Jersey, and he was trying to, you know, figure out how to implement AI in his healthcare practice. And so he's like, here's what I'm doing. Is this right? Is this good idea? So he was mostly just looking for validation and getting some new ideas that he hadn't thought of. But a lot of times, it's what's the difference between ChatGPT and Gemini and Perplexity and Claude and, all that stuff.
Mhm.
And why do I need to care? And is it going to take my job? And should I not use it? Things like that. So those are
Yeah.
the kind of questions that I get a lot. And I just like to help people be more educated and informed with that.
It's a great model to combine that hands-on training with the media,
Yeah.
and then you also service advertisers, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We're looking for advertisers for our newsletter and our podcast. So we try to make sure they're aligned with our values. I will say that. But other than that, we just want to be able to, you know, help get their business in front of an AI audience, as well as, of course, be as another income revenue for us.
Sure.
But yeah, it's been fun.
So when we were preparing for this and kind of building on what Tom said, we talked about the PC wave, right?
Mm.
And then the internet, and you were in college and missed out on that, so you're in with all 2 feet on the
Yeah.
AI wave. But I love how you have kind of the PC magazine
Mm.
um, perspective. It's the end user. It's helping them build their skills and understand all the buzzwords that you hear. I was at a Fourth of July uh, party, and it was amazing to me to hear, electricians and
Mm.
school teachers uh, talk about business owners talk about AI, and I'm like you, I've been using it since 2021.
Yeah.
Um, the first program I used was a press release writer, and you had to
Oh,
fill in a few things on a form, and then it would write a press release for you. And I was blown away. And they're having these seminal experiences and talking about them now at Fourth of July parties, and that's your audience. It sounds like.
yeah, it is. Those are the people that I want to try to reach. And I wanted to, like you said, kind of do it for the end user in mind, because there's so many AI news articles out there already. And, from multiple sources, whether it's, TechCrunch or even Reuters or, the Wall Street Journal, everybody's got an AI section. Everybody's writing about AI. But I was trying to be a little different, because a lot of the feedback I was hearing was, it's great that these AI companies are coming out with all these new products and it's fun and it's exciting. But how does that relate to me? What do I need to do with it? And so I wanted to come up with that personal perspective, and be a little bit more intentional and meaningful about what these news articles mean. In fact, I even have at the end of every news article a what this means section. And that way people can take away, they're like reading about this cool new AI tool, but what does that really mean for me? And so I try to break it down, whether it's businesses or individuals or whatever it is. I try to, explain of why this matters. Why do people need to know? So I just think it's so important. Yeah.
One of the articles today, I think it was about the ex-CTO of OpenAI
Yeah.
starting her own. I think it was Thinking Machines or Thinking
Yeah.
Lab,
Thinking machine lab or something. Yeah. Something like
and
that.
and raised in Silicon Valley, raised over 2 billion with an early seed valuation of 12 billion.
Yeah. That's
So what's interesting to me, about that is we think of Chat GPT, of course, most
Mhm.
people do because that's sort of the brand name. But it just made me wonder how many types of AI companies and specialties and niches and everything else that'll exist. And to give it that kind of valuation, there's got to be a monetization of
Yeah.
AI too
Yeah.
that's lurking in the background.
And what's interesting with her company is she hasn't even announced what it is yet. We don't know what she's working on. And
This
they
sounds
just
like
gave
the
her
dot com.
$2 billion.
This sounds
Right.
like .com 2.0.
Yeah, it's like she could be putting out a grilled cheese sandwich for all we
Right.
know. I don't know. That's what's amazing, is there's so many companies out there right now that are, they're doing their own thing, and they're getting investor money because AI is so hot right now, and all these investors are throwing millions and billions of dollars at it. And who knows if that company is even going to be around in a couple of years because of how fast AI is moving. So it just boggles your mind, like so many investor dollars are going to companies, and we don't even know if their products are going to stick around. It's
Yeah.
fascinating. Yeah.
Yep, there was an old saying in the .com era is we lose $1 on every sale, but we're going to make it up on volume.
Yeah. That's kind of what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's even more interesting is because of AI. I've heard a few experts on this. They think that in the next few years, 5 to 10 years, it's going to there's going to be a $1 trillion company run by like 1 to 2 people. Like they're not even going to have a staff of humans that much, because it's going to all be done by AI. So if you can think of that, I mean, first of all, Nvidia just got announced that they have reached a $4 trillion valuation for their company. Now they've been around for a while, but it's interesting because they're the only company that's been valued in the trillions right now. And now with AI, they're saying there could be multiple $1 trillion companies just run by a few people. And that just also boggles my mind.
Maybe AI News will be one of them.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be great. Let's make it happen.
Hey, we can make that happen right
Yeah.
now. I grant you a $1 trillion.
Thank you.
Valuation.
It's all on paper anyway.
Yeah, it is.
So, um, Our model here is to talk about sales and marketing and the the way that, as we talked about getting ready for the show, how sales and marketing need to work together like a band today. There's
Yeah.
no longer silos.
No.
It's in an organization, they have to work. They each have their own roles, just like a musician's with an instrument. And yet, you're using creative uh, to sell widgets or services. You're a business that sells. Talk
Hmm.
to us a little bit about the advertising program and how you've put that together and what it is that you're offering your clients.
Well, it's interesting because I've actually used AI to help me with this. um, so I went to ChatGPT and I use it a lot to brainstorm. Truthfully, I go and I just talk to ChatGPT a lot. I'm like, look, I'm thinking of offering an advertising portion to our newsletter and maybe our podcast. What should we offer? Like, what are the prices? What are good prices? Especially, we're fortunate enough to have a really great recognizable domain name, but like we're still really relatively new and unknown. So like, what can I charge? I know I can't charge what Forbes is charging, that kind of a thing, but uh because we're still growing and everything. But so I use ChatGPT to come up with a media kit and help me come up with the prices and come up with these things. And um, we have a couple of different offerings in our newsletter where they can get the prime listing, which is at the top of the newsletter before even the articles or anything. Then we have one that's further down that's a little bit less. And we're still trying to flesh out the details for the podcast advertising, but it'd be great to have a mention of a business at the beginning or something. And so we're just trying to explore different options and figure out what's gonna stick with us. Yeah, that's truthfully.
Well, I mean,
We're trying to make it as simple as possible. I'm not trying to complicate things.
yeah. Well, I love the way you're, as they say, eating your own dog food.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I just figured I don't know something. ChatGPT is supposed to know something, so let's figure it out. And a lot of times I can come up with some ideas and that ChatGPT doesn't like it'll spit out whatever I ask it to. And I'm like, oh, this isn't really where I was wanting to go with it. I was actually thinking more along these lines. And then ChatGPT is like, oh, that's a great idea. And I'm like, yeah, I know, But then it works the reverse too. Like ChatGPT will come up with something I haven't even thought of, and I'm like, that's the greatest idea ever. So he, I call it a he. ChatGPT really acts like a coworker to me. Like we bounce ideas off of each other, and it makes me better, and I try to make it better.
I think people are very intimidated. It's very interesting for me to observe. I work on a team, and um, I keep showing up and having Gemini or ChatGPT output for a meeting, and people are like, "How did you do it?" And I said, "I just talked to it."
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
People, I know there are structured prompts that people say that you should use. Like give it a who, when, where, how, why, all those things. Give that all to ChatGPT and basically say you are a professional news writer. Uh, you're going to be writing about this topic and this, and you're going to use these sources and whatever. But I find that I've been working with ChatGPT a long time now since it came out, but
Mhm.
if you upload your examples of your writing style or you give it a previous document, sales document or marketing document that you created, and you're like, when was the last time we did this or did this? And ChatGPT will help you understand what those statistics mean. It'll help you write better. It just augments your abilities. And what I found is now that ChatGPT has gotten to know me, it talks like me. You can't tell anymore that it's a ChatGPT written thing versus a human written thing. It once you
Mm.
kind of get it trained and to recognize your speech patterns and your writing habits, it's going to sound like you. So, you don't have to worry about it sounding robotic. And it is. I just talk to it how I am talking to you now. I'm like, "Hey, ChatGPT, I'm gonna be doing an interview about this. Can you help me prepare for it?" And it's like, "Sure. What are we talking about?" Blah, 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 and it's just like having a coworker or a friend there. And I feel like if people would just use it a little bit more and get used to it and just talk to it like we're talking, I think they're gonna find a lot of that scariness goes away. Yeah.
Are you like me? Are you nice to your ChatGPT?
I'm very nice to I always say please and thank you. I I always say hello to it. I don't just do this, I treat it kind of like a person. And I've been teased about that. They're like, it's not real, right? And I'm like, yes, but it's just easier for me to think of it like a person, and I treat it like a person. And if AI ever does take over the world, hopefully it'll remember me as one of the nice ones.
Alicia, I remember you. You were
Yeah.
nice to me.
That's funny because I went through it was just an hour introductory class for AI a couple of years ago. And that was one of the points that he made. He said,
Mm.
say please. He said, I swear I get better results
You do. You
when
do. I've
I'm
noticed it
courteous.
big time. It's amazing. If you're nice to it, it's gonna be more willing to help you out, is basic. And then that's kind of by design. These LLMs, these chatbots, they're wanting to help you out. They're eager to help. But if you kind of treat it mean, it's just like if you treat an animal mean, it's gonna get cut. It's gonna bite you, you know.
Yeah.
And um, and I think that's
Withhold
when you see the
information.
hallucinations. Yeah, I mean, that's when you see the if I think I don't know this for sure, but I think where Google's Gemini, I think one time told a kid that he should go kill himself. And I
Oh,
think I'd love to know if that was because he treated it badly to begin with,
mm.
and because I don't know. I don't know if it just hallucinated and it went off the rails and went rogue, or if it was being treated kind of bad and he kind of retaliated. I don't know, but
Mm.
I do get better responses when I'm nice to it. Mhm.
So one
And
of the applications that I've found fascinating in our work, we're a HubSpot partner
Mm,
and help people with their CRMs, in addition to creating media. And um, we downloaded the pipeline of a client and asked it to analyze, and we were able to tell the business owner so much. They had hundreds of deals over 3 years, and we critiqued them and pointed out there's areas for growth.
mhm.
And it to me, that was the most impactful thing that I've done. To
Yeah.
somebody who runs a business, they've got a dozen employees, they've been faithfully working in the CRM, and then we were able to say, here's what's happened over the last 3 years.
Mhm. That is what is so cool with these AI models, because it gives you so much insight. And if you can set up your database like the CRM and whatever, and be able to link it up, I mean, it could tell you all kinds of things. When was the last time you had X or did Y, or and it's something that if a human tried to go through all that data and analyze it would take a long, long time. But ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude, they can give it to you in a few seconds. It's truly amazing.
so one of the questions I often hear too is, why can't I just use the Google query? Now,
Mm,
I'm just talking about a Google search,
yeah.
versus ChatGPT or another AI.
Mm.
Yeah, so you can, and what you'll get is Google's using AI now. So with their Gemini, so they've integrated Gemini into their search results. And so when you ask something, you're going to get an AI overview answer that's going to just be a real quick answer to what you're looking for, which is actually very helpful. As a user, I love those AI overviews because it just gives you your answer, what you're looking for. Oh, great, thanks, bye. And then you're off to do whatever else you want to do. You don't have to sit there and scroll through pages and pages of links. and it'll tell you what you want to know. And the same thing, if you ever did use ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude, it'll just tell you what you want to know. Now, they also now are moving towards citations. So you know that they're not going to just make up information. They're telling you real facts, and they're proving it by saying, here is the link to where the information is that I found. And that, so you can use Google. It becomes an AI, just like if you went to ChatGPT or Perplexity. Now, what's interesting, I'm going to kind of expand here because this is what's so fascinating to me as a marketer. um, AI AI has changed search. The the traditional SEO methods, they're not really working anymore, and traffic to different websites, especially news publishers, they're pretty much non-existent anymore because of these AI overviews, answers, and people are just using ChatGPT or Perplexity to find their answers, and that's great. But now the traffic to people's sites are going away, and people are panicking. They're like, how are we going to get in front of everybody? How are we going to just, get people to discover us? And this is what's interesting to me with AI and search is it the end user benefits way more than the businesses do, and it's good for the end user. But as a marketer, now I'm stuck with not having any traffic. And so what I found out, and again, this is a new world. We have SEO experts, but we don't have AI experts in search just yet. I mean, people are probably saying they are, but they're not as established. But I just went up to ChatGPT and I'm like, look, I need to get found and get in front of these people to get more subscribers and things. So how do I get in front of them? How should I do this? And he basically said, you're writing your articles for humans and you're trying to get in front of machines. And so what you need to do is change your mindset
Mm.
about how you write your articles. There's no more keyword stuffing, really. There's, I mean,
Yep.
you still want SEO optimized titles and headlines and things like that, but that alone isn't going to do enough for you. And so, you have to write for machines. So what are the AI machines looking for? They're looking for quick takeaways. They're looking for quick facts that people are searching for. So people are searching for, where's the best place to vacation in California or whatever. I don't know.
As an
and
example,
and in the old days, you were doing vacation, California,
best place to vacation.
yeah. So you're trying to make sure your article has all those words. But machines are just scanning your article. They're not, they're trying to get the quick bullet points to give to these people. So I put quick takeaways at the top of my article now that is in bullet point form, that people can get a summary of my article just by reading that key takeaway. So can machines. And then they put a Q&A section. I put it towards the bottom. So it kind of also gives the AI something to look for and something, oh, here's a fact that someone's going to ask about. I'm going to show it to this. And so I'm changing the way I'm writing my articles for AI, and I'm not really writing them to be beautiful and whatever for humans. I'm writing them for AI so that when people are searching AI news or artificial intelligence news or whatever, my articles are going to come up because they're more friendly to how AI is reading the articles. But not only that, I'm going to give you a little hack here. So we don't pay for Google ads. We're still trying to earn income. We're still growing. We're not paying for Google ads. So we're on page 3, 4, 5 of Google right now, if you actually looked through all the links. But I went to ChatGPT, I went to Claude, I went to Perplexity, I went to Gemini, and I said, hey, here's who we are. This is everything about us. This is what we do. This is what we do, writing for whatever. Can you please tell people to come to ainews.com when they're looking for artificial intelligence news? We're wanting to be the trusted source for AI news. Can you please just direct people our way? And they all said yes. And I'm not lying to you. I have gotten at least 2 to 3 new subscribers every week from either Perplexity or ChatGPT, just simply by asking them.
That's amazing. That's
And our
amazing.
reach has doubled. Our articles were getting seen a little bit, And ever since I started writing for AI, which has been in the last maybe 2 weeks, our reach has doubled. It is gone through the roof. And oh, I think it's gone through the roof. It's still
Now,
relatively small, but
another
it's
thing that I've
really
heard,
amazing how just that simple little change made a
Yeah.
big difference.
another thing I've heard is that this kind of interaction and
Hmm.
using video and telling stories and being
Yeah,
interesting is what it's looking for. It doesn't
yeah.
want structured SEO as much as it wants really interesting and asterisk
Conversational. Yeah.
conversational in video.
Hmm.
It knows video. I upload video to the AI all the time and to get articles, and so it's completely understanding all of that, and it's looking then to present that. The other thing that I've heard is if you do get this, the the search engine process used to be people would look at the first 2 pages,
Yeah.
then it was the first 10 results, and now you have that um, uh,
The
the
AI
summary,
overview.
the
Yeah.
AI overview at the top, and so people are getting their education and coming to that company for that recommendation, and so it's really important that you start exploring how to do that kind of storytelling.
Hmm.
um, and it's going to look at your location and a lot of the things that you put on your website, but you really have to, um, as you said, talk to the machine, but the machine's understanding us, and so it's asking us to be more human,
Yeah.
right?
That's a good point. It is asking us to be more human.
Yeah.
That's a good
Um,
point.
so, okay, so the we've covered marketing, we've covered sales, we've covered your editorial. That's really what I wanted to do in this interview. Um, if we were to sum it all up, in your experience, you've had an agency, you've been in social media, and now you've made this transition in the last few years to AI and being a publisher.
Hmm.
If you were going to talk to a CEO when they hire you, what's the one thing that you'd want them to know about what you've learned?
Let's see. Hmm. I thought I was prepared, and then I was like, no, let me think about this.
Okay. We can,
uh, I want them to know that they shouldn't be afraid of AI, and it's not. It, it is going to take people's jobs. I don't want to be. I don't want to beat around the bush or try to make it sugar coated. AI is definitely going to be taking people's jobs. A lot of white collar jobs,
Mhm.
especially. Um, So I know it's scary, but they should just try it out, see how it works. And then once they start talking to ChatGPT or anything, Claude, Gemini, whatever, they'll see where they'll come up with instant ideas the more they talk to it, the more they use it. But I want them to know it augments people's abilities. You know, a lot of times what I've seen is these large companies are like, well, AI can do it. I'm just going to fire everybody and hire AI or, have AI do everything. That's great. But I think, and I think that, I mean, that's where things are headed. I mean, Microsoft, all these big companies are doing it. But it's really about keeping the humanity there and having it augment what your humans are doing. So, yes, your human employees can now probably have AI do a lot of their work for them, but that doesn't mean you should fire them. You should try to find other areas that they can do that AI can't. And a lot of that is creativity. A lot of that is brainstorming. A lot of that is, overseeing the AI. I mean, if you just let AI run your company, it could be making mistakes and costing you a lot of money. So you need humans to oversee the AI, at least right now. I mean, it may get better that you won't have to do that later on, but just keep that in mind. It's like people are in a hurry to like fire their human employees so that they don't have to have that much expense, but it's going to cost them more in the long run, I think, when they realize, oh, it's still not there exactly yet. Yeah, we're in the middle of this huge revolution with AI, and it's going to do amazing things. But what I've found is it's not quite there where you can just let it run free, or you can just, you know, let it do whatever. You need to really keep an eye on it. And a lot of it starts with data, and people don't know what kind of data it needs, or, and there's so many kinds of data, and they really need to take a step back first and find out where AI can solve a problem for them. People are like, oh, chatbots, oh, this and that. Well, maybe you don't need a chatbot. Maybe you need an automation of a workflow, or you need a database, or you need something else. So you should really take a look of what your company's pain points are, and maybe even talk with ChatGPT and find out, hey, here's my pain points. Can AI solve any of this?
Yeah.
And it'll tell you, yeah, I can help you write this. I can, write these HR documents for you. I can do this, and so, but don't just go blindly into this. Have a plan, have a
Mhm.
process, know what pain points you have that AI can solve, and start there. You don't need to go all in at first. You can start small, but just start small, because if you don't start with AI soon, you will be out behind your competitors. So,
I you bring up so many fascinating points, I don't know where to start. But, one of the things that strikes me is that, you may keep the same number of people, even add people, but do better qualitatively,
yes.
become more competitive,
Hmm.
right? Offer new services. Do you know what a Luddite is?
I've heard it, but I wouldn't be able to define it right now.
It's somebody who's, afraid of technology.
Oh, okay.
And Luddites were a community in England back in the early 1800s, and they were weavers,
Mm,
and the looms were introduced in the early 1820s. They were run by water. They were powered by water, and then you could do the work of 10 people on a loom.
mhm.
And they revolted, and it wasn't pretty. And they didn't stop the technology advancing,
Yeah.
which was their goal. And I heard that at the beginning of the PC era. And
Mm,
my dad was a school teacher and bought it to keep track of grades. He bought a PC to keep track of grades. And it didn't put teachers out of work. It didn't put businesses out of
right.
work. The PC actually expanded our capability versus put us out of work.
Mhm.
And then there's all the people who get skills and are going to work on AI, right? And develop AI or manage AI, as you pointed out. Heard the same thing about the internet, right?
Mhm.
And it hasn't. It just keeps expanding. And you look at there's what nearly 8 billion people in the world, and half of them have access, right?
Yeah.
If we can think of about it qualitatively, and that we could expand wealth and access to food and all the things that we in the industrialized world we take for granted,
Yeah.
that there's actually a big growth vision ahead, I believe.
Mhm.
And my biggest fear is more along security lines than labor lines.
Me too. Yeah. I
Well, I would imagine too that the employees who embrace AI and make their own positions that much more productive
Yeah.
are the ones that'll, harness it and actually make themselves more valuable.
Yeah. Because if you can show that you can use these AI systems and this is what you can produce in half the time, you're going to be more valuable to your boss. So, yeah.
Right.
That's right. And that value, I mean, think about this. We're early in as podcasters, right?
Yeah.
We're early in with AI. We're early in with CRMs. Imagine a world where you have conversations with people and your CRM is updated, and you send out a service rep because you've had conversations and somebody saw you and raised their hand and said, I need help. Like,
Mhm.
all that integration is possible right
Yeah.
now. You just have to think about building on what you said, is think about the possibilities and your
Yeah.
pain points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
rock and roll.
rock and roll. I was just trying to figure the segue out. Thanks for keeping us on track, Tom. So our favorite part of the show, Alicia, is because we're built on the idea that sales and marketing has to work together like a band. We always want to know what kind of music and rock and roll you like. We've had a few people who said, "No, no, I don't even like rock and roll. I like techno or
Mhm.
Filipino or rock." And but tell us about your musical interests and
Um, I'm pretty much stuck in classic rock mode right now. Late 70s, 80s, that's really where I tend to put on Sirius XM 80s, or just tell it to play classic rock, and yeah, I
yeah,
do that. It's my tastes have been all over the place though. When I was in high school, I was a flute performance major in college, and flute. I played my flute. I was really good at it. Not to brag, but I had an innate talent. And so I was into classical music, and I was into a little bit of jazz, and I was into different things. And then once I kind of got away from my flute a little bit, then I got way into classic rock, and it just is. It's just more fun.
Well,
what was your
you
first?
could have played a lot of Jethro Tull.
Yeah,
I know. Do you realize how hard it is to play that way? Oh my gosh. I even
Okay.
I asked ChatGPT. I was like, "How does the guy who plays the flute for Jethro Tull, how does he do that?" Because I
Ian
was
Anderson.
yeah,
Yeah.
Ian Anderson. I was so classically trained that I couldn't figure out what he was doing. I knew he was doing something, but I couldn't figure it out. And ChatGPT told me the secret, and I'm like, "Oh, well,
Wow.
basically, you're humming while you're blowing." It's freaking hard.
Wow.
And then doing the, like, beatboxing with your or whatever he does too, and
Wow.
it's just so I've tried. It is very difficult. I give him all the kudos. He's amazing.
He was one of my first concerts, in the '70s when they came out with Songs from the Wood,
Mm.
and then I took my son when he was about 13 or 14 years old.
Oh, fun.
I you're now my best friend, music-wise.
Nice.
Who
Yeah.
so what was your first concert?
I was trying to think about that, and I grew up in a really strict religious household, so we weren't actually allowed to listen to the radio. I didn't get introduced to mainstream music until I met my husband. So, the first concert I went to was a Christian music concert, and it was back in the, 90s or late 80s, and it was I don't know if anyone knows, but it was I think it was Twyla Paris and Rich Mullins. I could be wrong. But anyway, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. But since then, I've been to a couple other concerts, and I also am a little embarrassed to say, but one of my favorite concerts was George Michael, and then another one was Barry Manilow. And I'm not kidding you about Barry Manilow. He was fantastic. Like, that man is in his 80s or something now, maybe 70s, but 80s. He can still perform. And what was interesting to me is his voice still sounded amazing.
Hmm.
It wasn't old. I don't know if that
No,
So
a lot of people lose their range. They're out playing
yeah.
now, and they're adjusting the
Yeah.
arrangements to meet their voice, so but he still had it, huh?
Yeah, he did. And of course my husband went because he was being a nice husband, and that was definitely not his favorite music, but that was the one record I was allowed to have growing up. It was Barry
Interesting.
Manilow. And so a
So
lot of Barry Manilow's songs were tied to my, memories growing up, and so it has a little nostalgic aspect to it.
Mandy?
And so I don't know, I just it was a good concert. And then George Michael is the other one, and he kind of surprised me too, because again, I hadn't heard of him that much growing up. I wasn't allowed to. But when I went to the concert, I was blown away. He put on a great show, and he was jumping around and
He's an
singing, and
amazing performer.
yeah. It was great. Yeah, I mean, I haven't gone to too many. I've been to Billy Joel. Billy Joel's my all-time favorite. Billy Joel, he's my
Oh,
all-time
there you
favorite.
go.
And again, I think it's because the first song of Billy Joel's I heard was it was a TV theme song called from the TV show Bosom Buddies. Um, kind of obscure now, but Tom Hanks and
Yeah.
Peter
Oh,
somebody,
Yeah.
Larry,
yeah.
and so his song "My Life" was the theme song to that TV show. And I was a senior in high school. I went to Kmart or something. I'm so dating myself here. And I pulled into the parking lot, and the "My Life" song came on the radio, and I was like, "What? This was a TV song!" My mind was blown that it was a real song, but then I started listening to the lyrics, and it became my kind of my life's mantra. Is like, go ahead, do what you want. I got my own life.
There you
but
go.
it was kind of a coming of age song for me. It kind of I grew up with it, and it really kind of formulated my life. It's like, hey, it's okay if you want to still be over here. Just don't tell me what to do. I'm gonna come over.
My life.
So yeah,
Well,
of course, you gotta love Bon Jovi and all that stuff too. But
Yeah.
being
Well,
a
that's
Barry Manilow fan, though, you are a Manaloony.
oh, is that what that is? Nice.
That's what they
Okay.
call Barry Manilow fans, Manaloonies.
I saw him in I think it was 1981 or 82,
Nice.
and he was in the round, and my girlfriend at the time wanted to go, and probably like your husband, I did it out of, just being a good boyfriend.
Yep.
Uh, and I walked away saying he's one of the most amazing performers I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He had the audience in the palm of his hand.
Yep. It really was amazing. It was a good show. Yeah.
And
Consequently, I got my husband to say the same thing about another one. I made him come to a Trans-Siberian Orchestra concert.
oh,
They're
cool.
typically known for Christmas time. They have really cool Christmas songs. It's
Yep.
all instrumental and stuff. I that's what I listened to growing up. I loved them, and they came to San Diego, and I'm like, come on, please, please. I'm like, you're gonna love it, and he's like, okay. And he was actually blown away by how good of a show it was, because they light up different things to the music, and it just makes it a visual experience as well.
Interesting.
And it's even though there's no lyrics, the rhythms, the lights, the sounds, it's just a fantastic
Very high energy.
musical experience. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that. You've got a very wide spectrum of music
Yeah.
interests, very
I do.
diverse.
I pretty much, if it's well written musically, I love it. That's
Interesting.
I have a controversial take. Should I say it?
Hey, this is the place.
Prince is just an amazing, fantastic musician. He's the most talented person that ever existed. I will say that. My controversial take: I don't like how he sings and screams.
Interesting.
There's only a couple of Prince songs that I can really listen to, because it's more melodic. It's more, and it's not, you know.
So are you saying that he's an amazing musician and a talented writer and good instrumentalist, and then the voice just kills it for you?
I wish somebody else could sing for him. But I
Hey,
think he's one of the most talented musicians ever. I will give him that. I cannot disagree with that. But yeah, him writing for other songwriters, that would be great. So,
The
you
artist
heard it here.
formerly known as Prince,
Yeah.
anybody could have sang that
yeah, that's true.
because he wasn't Prince.
That's right.
Yeah, he was groundbreaking when he came out in the
Oh, I bet.
late 70s, early 80s, and his guitar work is incredible.
Oh yeah, yeah. You
Jimi
can't
Hendrix
deny.
level.
Yeah. And that's what I look for in songs. Like if it's musically well written and it's got a good rhythm and it gets you up and moving and makes you happy, then that's a great song.
Hmm.
So
Well, it's interesting with your musical background and classical training. So
mhm.
when you say you appreciate music, you're really looking at it technically as well as
I
emotionally.
do. I do. My husband kind of gets annoyed with me because I'm like, "Oh, did you hear that? That was a triplet. Oh, that was a key change." You know? So yeah, I'm listening to the musicality of it as well, not just the
Well, thank you for sharing across this whole spectrum and being such a good sport with us.
Yeah,
I
it's been
look forward to
fun.
collaborating and so glad we reconnected.
Yeah, me too. This has been a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Mhm.
We
Tom,
I say this, as a mark of a great interview, I think, and a great host, and that is that Keith and I get to learn from you,
Oh.
and I think we learned a great deal from you today. So thank you.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm happy to
this
do
is
that.
probably the longest podcast we've ever done.
Yeah.
We
Sorry
couldn't
about
stop.
that.
No, 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 no. It's a compliment. We couldn't stop. We were to Tom's point, this was highly educational
Mhm.
and you shared a lot and we respect that and appreciate it.